Well, Grant, when it became apparent that a verdict was going to be coming in, the judge came back around 4:25 saying that the jury had reached a verdict. At that point, I knew it was not going to be good, right? We had been looking from our perspective for this to go as long as possible. You just know in a place like Manhattan where 86% voted for Joe Biden, Alvin Bragg overwhelmingly wanted to become the district attorney, that there was not going to be any possibility of having 12 unbiased jurors on that jury pool. We were only hoping for one juror to hang the jury. Sadly, I think they ignored the evidence, and they may have taken one of the pieces of information that Steinglass, the prosecutor, actually gave them during the fifth hour of his summation. Grant, he ended up telling the jury, don't worry so much about the details in this trial. He said, that's what the defense wants you to worry about. Don't examine every single detail, but rather look at this as a whole. First off, reasonable doubt is proved within any of these details and pieces of evidence. So the judge should have admonished him the way the judge admonished Blantz, but Mershon has acted completely differently from the prosecution to the defense. I do think the other thing, though, about that, which he said to them subliminally, was, don't worry about whether or not we've proven that case. Just worry about whether or not you like Donald Trump or do not. They took his advice on that one there, Grant.
You know, it's outrageous. And, Andrew, you're a New Yorker, clearly. Your father was mayor of that once great city. It's not a great city anymore. I grew up in Westchester County. For a long time, I considered myself a New Yorker. I said early on, I had great faith we were going to get an acquittal. I had faith in New Yorkers that they could put this aside, even though I know how much they hate President Trump. Andrew Giuliani, I have lost all faith in my home state. I don't even want to go back there and visit. I'm disgusted by this. And I'm sorry to say that to you, who's standing in the middle of the city where I grew up in and around. Your thoughts of my feelings like that of New York today?
Well, I sent it right out while I was still in the courtroom, while Donald Trump, just after he had walked out and we were locked in by the court officers waiting for President Trump to finish his remarks. I said I'd never been more disappointed to be a New Yorker and disappointed in my fellow 12 Manhattanites there. I think they totally ignored all the evidence, all the information, the fact that every single document was based off of Michael Cohen's word, who perjured himself twice in this trial, not in the past trials. In this trial, they put all that aside and they allowed their political biases to make the verdict for them. And that was a guilty verdict of Donald Trump. Grant, though, if there's one positive thing that I could tell you and your viewers here, I made eye contact with Donald Trump, my friend of 25 years, my former boss in the White House, as he was walking out of the courtroom. And I saw a man who looked serious and stern, but I saw a man who looked resolute. A man who understood that the weight of the future of this constitutional republic was on his shoulders.
Yeah. That's the resolve I see in him.